Hi lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. Today I am finishing off my vote coasters for 2022. The last major coaster push we had was in October when we went to California and we picked up 30 new credits in a week, which is super fun. It was actually California and Las Vegas because we planned a layover purposely to pick up more coasters. My brother and I are nerds, what can I say? So this is my fourth video where I've been doing vote coasters. If you want to also do it, just Google search vote coasters or it's votecoasters.com. Here are my rankings. So far I've gone through all my parks except California, and this is all the coasters I've ridden. So there are 3 other videos from this year, and then I also did last year's. I'll link them down below. I also have an Instagram, Check Her Joy, where you can check out my roller coaster photos, which I'm really kind of proud of. Thank you. One of my favorite hobbies now is just, I love photography already, but being able to capture theme parks and roller coasters is something else. So much fun. Okay, so this video does have chapters if you're only interested in one of these parks. The parks I'm going into are Six Flags Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, the Santa Monica Pier, the Adventure Dome, and the Big Apple Coaster at New York Casino. So let's rank some coasters. So, starting off our trip, we went to Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is in Valencia, California, just north of LA. They have 20 coasters total, although I think we only rode 14 if I counted correctly. We went in the middle of the week in October. Not everything was open. So the first thing we did when we got there was go ride Full Throttle because it's low capacity. I think it runs 1 train at a time. This is the 2013 coaster by Pier. It is a Skyrocket 3 model. I think I've ridden 1, 2, and 3 for Skyrockets now. Woohoo! Anyway, this is 164 feet tall, reaches 70 miles per hour. It has 2 inversions and an LSM multi-launch. So the coaster launches frontwards and backwards. There's also this giant loop. You get to go over the top and bottom of the loop, which is the inside and outside of the loop, which is super fun. I loved it. I also, I had watched the POVs like in August when we were planning this trip, but by October I had forgotten that Full Throttle has a backwards launch. So that was like, whoa, we're doing this. Fun. So here's the Skyrocket one at Kennywood, and Impulse at Knoebels, and Tantrum at Darien Lake are all similar-ish. I'm gonna give it low. More fun than Impulse. I do have tons and tons of fun at Skyrocket at Kennywood, though. I don't know if that's just because I've ridden it more times, so... Okay, there's my ranking. First one for this trip. Then we rode the kiddie coasters because we were walking past the kiddie area and we're like, there's no line. Let's just knock off these credits right now. The first one we did was Speedy Gonzales Hot Rod Racers. This is a 2014 Zamperla coaster. It's 13 feet tall. It only gets to 262 feet of track total. It's an oval and a single helix in the middle. A little more exciting than Big Pumpkin Coaster, but still down by the kiddie coaster. I don't know. It's more fun than Flying Ace. So I guess that actually means it should be up here. Then we did Canyon Blaster. This is a 1999 steel E&F Miler coaster. It's 8 feet tall and it reaches 10 miles per hour. So much closer to Great Pumpkin Coaster, Little Phantom, Little Devil. Actually a better theming than Little Phantom. A little bit better theming. And we also rode Roadrunner Express. This one originated in 2000 to 2005 at Six Flags New Orleans. It was also Roadrunner Express there, and then got moved in 2011 to Magic Mountain. So this is a Vekoma. It reaches 21.7 miles per hour. It's a whole 27.9 feet tall. It was fun. It was more intense than the other kiddie coasters. Slightly bigger, but also still like solidly a kiddie coaster, so closer to these ones with the Grover coasters at SeaWorld and Williams Busch Gardens. I do like the classic junior PTC design more though. Like that feels like it really is like a little coaster. It's perfect. We rode X2. We had managed to hit it exactly the right numbers for my brother to make it his 200th. That was the whole point of the entire trip. So that one opened in 2002 officially, although it did start for pass holders in 2001, like just Christmas Eve of that year. But officially opened in 2002 as X. And then it got converted from X to X2 in 2008, which was like a change of trains. Although I'm not entirely sure what they changed about the trains, other than, I guess, speakers got added. We also didn't get to hear the soundtrack when we rode X2. Does that mean we only rode X? I don't know. This is an Aero fourth dimension coaster. It was designed by Alan Schilke, and this seat's flip, which is that fourth dimension there. It's 175 feet tall, 215 foot drop, 76 miles per hour, and it does 2 inversions. And doing an inversion while the seat is also flipping is like the craziest sensation. Like, this coaster is so freaking metal. It's insane. It was so scared of this coaster before I rode it, and then I was like, that was awesome. Let's do that again. So X2 is also Aero's last coaster, which I'm a bit sad about. And I was holding a grudge against it, and I wrote it. I'm like, actually, this is really good. Definitely a different experience, and way better than 40 free spins that SNS does. How's that X2? But Ride is still better. It can be 14. Next coaster we rode was Viper, which ended up being my 150th coaster. It's just like, yes, need to ride another Aero. This one opened in 1990. It's an Aero looper. It is 188 feet tall, 171 foot drop, 70 miles per hour, does 7 inversions, and there were 3 loops that all grouped together, so when you're seeing them from across the park in the parking lot, you just see these 3 giant loops. It's so pretty, but it's a little bit rough. It's an Aero, it's janky, I love it, but janky, so it's not going to be as smooth as the others. Yeah, I'm going to give it to just below Anaconda. Then we went and rode West Coast Racers. This opened in 2020. It's a Premier Rides. It's a Mobius racing coaster, and this one you do both sides automatically. So you do the one side racing, then there's like a brake run and a little show while the other train swaps riders, and you launch, do the second half, and then end up back. So you get 2 races. This one is 67 feet tall, 55 miles per hour, does 4 inversions, and it has some really fun helices. But some of these transitions felt kind of like RMCs and a bit intense, but it's still kind of a family coaster. I mean, it is a family coaster still. I liked Icebreaker's multi-launch better than West Coast Racers, even with the helices. Okay, so before, after Alpine Ice, those are completely different coasters. Yeah, put it there. Really close to Twisted Timbers. Then we went and rode Goliath. This one opened in 2000. It's by Giovanola. This is a mega coaster model. It's actually a hyper coaster. By height, it's 235 feet tall, 255 foot drop, 85 miles per hour, and oh my gosh, the laterals. It has such good helices and laterals, and now I'm ready to go ride I-305 now that I've been like in laterals at a 10 speed. Like, that's great. I like it. This is my favorite one at this park. My favorite coaster in California. So good. And it did have the longest drop and fastest speed before Millie opened for a whole like 3 months. Millennium Force, before Millennium Force opened again. I did like it more than X2, so obviously it's in here. Like, so good. So good. Oh, barely misses my top 10. Revolton's so good though. Okay, then we rode Revolution. I guess there's New Revolution on here. It originally opened in 1976. It is a Schwarzkopf loop. It has 1 loop, but it is the first modern coaster vertical loop. They tried some in the early 1900s with wood, and they were not designed correctly, and they were super forceful and fast and not good. So this is the first good vertical loop. It's 113 feet tall, 55 miles per hour. The loop itself is 90 feet tall. I do like the fact that it kind of meanders around and feels a bit like an Aero also, but so does Super Duper Looper. So where did I put that? These are going to be close together. There it is. I'm gonna give it to New Revolution because it's on cliffs and the mountains and over the waterfall. It makes it super like photogenic. But yes, I liked Revolution. That was fun. Then we have Tatsu, which is a flying coaster. In 2006, built by B&M. It's 170 feet tall, 110 foot drop, 62 miles per hour, and you are going all up and down like this mountain, which is a cool feeling and sensation. But I really like the inside part, like when you're doing the flying part, but I hate the part going into and out of the station. Like, I hate being on my stomach for that period, so it's uncomfortable. There's Manta. SeaWorld is also a flying coaster, and Superman. Okay, waterfall versus mountain is really what I'm trying to decide. I think Tatsu's slightly better. Then we went 2 days. The second day we started off by rope dropping Wonder Woman, because that's the brand new coaster that opened this year, 2022. It's built by RMC. It's a single rail rafter coaster. You're one train and one seat on a train in each row, one after another. This one's 131 feet tall, 58 miles per hour, and just 3 inversions. It's slightly taller and longer than Jersey Devil coaster. I liked it better than Jersey Devil, so clearly it's above 100. I like it better than Flight of Fear, honestly. Motor coaster was good. I don't know if it's better than Iron Dragon. The second half of Iron Dragon's really good, but the beginning part of Iron Dragon's kind of weak. I'm gonna do that. There you go, Wonder Woman. Then we rode Batman the Ride because they're right next to each other. And this one opened in 1994. It's a B&M invert. It's a clone of Batman the Ride at Six Flags Great America. 5 inversions, 165 feet tall, 50 miles per hour, all pretty much the same. This one's over concrete, which I guess makes it feel more urban in a way. Those two are the same, but Great America's landscaping's better. Pushes it slightly above. Okay, Twisted Colossus. This is 2015 RMC conversion of their original racer Colossus, which was a wooden coaster. RMC made it into a hybrid. It's now a Mobius racing coaster. 121 feet tall, 128 foot drop, 57 miles per hour. It does 2 inversions. You do both sides automatically. There is a really cool part where if the timing is right, the one side should flip directly over the other side. But we didn't quite get that. Like, we raced only one time, really, and we were in the back of the train, so we were not underneath the other coaster when that part happened, so it wasn't... It could be amazing. Also, it suffers from the fact that it's an RMC, and it does a lot of throwing you around with no handholds, and I hate that. Like, give me something to hold on to if we're going to do this kind of tossing me around like a rag doll. So... it's worse than Twisted Timbers. I like Twisted Timbers the best still. Twisted Colossus. You were better than Kitty Coasters, They're Really Boring, Valeraven, and Harry Potter, which is only sort of a coaster. Congratulations. I thought you were going to be lower than you were. I'm surprised. Next we rode Gold Rusher, which is their Aero Mine Train. It opened in 1971 with the park. I think that was opening year. This one's 70 feet tall, 35 miles per hour, but it goes in and around the woods along the mountain, and it's so fun. Not Adventure Express one, but it is a fun Aero Mine Train. Gold Rusher. Above the Spinning Wild Mouse. Yeah. Definitely in between River King and Cedar Creek. So next we actually did the Santa Monica Pier and Santa Monica West Coaster at Pacific Park. The West Coaster opened in 1996. It's a steel Morgan coaster, 55 feet tall, 35 miles per hour. It has 2 fun helices, but mostly it's kind of like a family coaster. It was fun to be like right on the pier and right near the ocean, but yeah, solid. Would recommend. Then we have Knott's Berry Farm. I like the history behind it with the boysenberries and the fact that it actually started off as a farm, and they had a restaurant, and they had to start building attractions to amuse people who are waiting for their food. Like, Knott's has such good food. Although, Kennywood also has really good food, by the way. And Kings Island. We've eaten good this year, I think, parks. I do like the boysenberry. But, of course, we went mostly for the roller coasters. And I also got to do the Knott's Scary Farm and do the haunts. But that's like a whole different video. Okay, coasters. Obviously, we rope drop Ghost Rider because it's super popular and gets a really long ride. This one opened in 1998. It's a Custom Coasters International, but it got redone in 2016 by Great Coasters International. It's now like a hybrid of Custom Coasters and Great Coasters. This one is 118 feet tall, 108 foot drop, 56 miles per hour. It's 4,530, I think 3 feet of track is what I wrote down. It's a solid wooden coaster. It is really good. Not Mystic Timbers good, but good. So back towards the top. Alright, I'm going to stick it in between Voyage and Ravine Flyer 2, Thunderbolt. Sorry, Thunderbolt, you're not quite as good as Ghost Rider. That's a really good coaster. So is Thunderbolt. Then we rode Pony Express. This is a 2008 Zamperla straddle coaster, kind of like motor coaster, but you're riding a horse. It has a flywheel launch. It gets to 44 feet tall, 38 miles per hour. It's quick. Like, it's not a very long layout. I kind of like it more than motor coaster. Like, that launch is better, and I like the theming better. It's short, but it's kind of more fun than Gatekeeper, but not as fun as the Dark Knights. Those are wild, nice, and super fun. I love my laterals, guys. Then we rode Coast Rider. This is a 2013 Mack Wild Mouse. Oh man, Coast Rider has horrible trains. Horrible trains. They're shin restraints, and I'm short, and normally the shin restraints don't bother me, but nope, Ghost Rider was not fun. Potential. So much potential there, but you're just uncomfortable the whole time you're doing it. Like, why? Why is that your train? It's a wild mouse. You don't need to restrain the shins that much. Just build size to your train. You slightly beat out Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts. Okay, we rode Hang Time. This is the 2018 Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. It's 150 feet long, 57 miles per hour. It has 5 inversions, but it definitely has hang time on it. Slow inversions where you feel like you're just hanging there when you go through them. There's also a vertical lift, and if it's not actually a vertical drop, it's pretty near vertical drop. It also has kind of a dive coaster moment where it kind of just hangs you there for a second before it drops you. I love it. Hang Time was super fun. I loved it. This one of my favorites. It's up there with Ghost Rider. So where did I stick that? Alright, we're putting it right below Thunderbolt and Kennywood. I really love Thunderbolt, guys. Then we have Jaguar with an exclamation point. This is a 1995 Zir Tivoli coaster. It's 65 feet tall, 45 foot drop, reaches 35 miles per hour. This is a solid family coaster. Actually, like, theming and the line is super good, but the coaster itself is just like a standard family coaster. It is fun to go into that Aztec type pyramid. Okay, we're going to put Jaguar down here by Harley Quinn Crazy Train. They are both good family coasters, solid, have potential to be a little bit better, but solid. Next up is Silver Bullet. This is a 2004 B&M invert. It's 146 feet tall, 109 foot drop, 55 miles per hour. It has 6 inversions. It's got slow start pacing wise. I mean, you still get a drop in some speed, but like it doesn't feel quite as fast as the other B&M inverts. I like Album Guy slightly better, but I think it's better than West Coast Racers and Twisted Timbers. That was actually pretty easy to rank. I thought that would be harder. Then we rode Sierra Sidewinder. This is a 2007 Max Spinning Ride. I think I rode 69 feet tall and 41 foot drop. Hard to read my rating. But just does some cool kind of turns. We didn't get a ton of spinning though. It was pretty well balanced. The lines are so long you don't have like empty seats. But it is near the kiddie area. Solid family coaster. Good first spinning coaster. I would put it here by the figure eights maybe, even though it's a more complicated track. But slightly above the figure eights. We didn't ride the kiddie coaster, and Accelerator and Montezuma's Revenge were both closed, sadly. Really wanted to ride Accelerator. But no such luck. And then, actually, the day before and the day after Knott's Berry Farm, we ended up going to Disneyland. When we originally planned the trip, we were only going to go on the Wednesday, but then Matterhorn was closed for refurbishment and didn't reopen until Friday, and we'd already bought plane tickets by the time we got the reopening date. So we're like, okay, let's go do Matterhorns. We'll go to Disneyland for like 5 hours. So we spent a day and a half at Disneyland. The first coaster we rode there was Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is a 1979 mine ride, basically. It's designed by Dynamic Attractions. It's 28 miles per hour. It's a solid family coaster. It has really good theming. I like the dinosaur. You can only really see it from the queue. I'm going to put it right below Pony Express. It was solid. We also rode Space Mountain. So this is an indoor wild mouse. The projections make it so you can't really tell where the coaster's going. I could tell enough with where the projections were and where they were stopping and starting to notice some depth and be able to see a little bit ahead of me so I didn't get dizzy. My brother couldn't do that though, and he got dizzy on it. It depends on your ability to discern where the track is to how dizzy you're going to get on this coaster, I think. So this one opened in 1977. It was designed by the Disneyland Designs. WED is what it's listed as. It reaches 32 miles per hour. I liked it a lot. So it's definitely better than Dorney's Wild Mouse, and better than King's Dominions. I'm going to give Hurricane a slight advantage. Make sure I grab the right Space Mountain. Ta-da! Space Mountain. Then we went over to Disney's California Adventure. We rode Goofy Sky School first. This is 2001. It's the Mack Wild Mouse. Reaches 27 miles per hour. Pretty standard. I like Space Mountain more, actually, anyway. I'm going to put it below Apple's Apple, because Apple's Apple, I remember having that one dip when you first start. And then we also rode the Incredicoaster. This is 2001. It opened as California Screaming. It's an Intamin. It's 108 feet tall, 55 miles per hour, and has a loop. It's actually a steel coaster, and it looks wooden, which I think might have helped it if it was wooden. There was something off about a credit coaster. Like, it just didn't feel like it. You were seeing the elements and thinking that they should feel a different way based off of wooden coasters, and so there's like a disconnect. And like, this is not what it's supposed to be. Although I did enjoy the launches, but the overall experience was not amazing. I will give it an advantage of Runaway Mine Train at Great Adventure. But yeah, I was expecting way more from that coaster. Alright, and then we rode Matterhorn bobsleds. I went back on that Friday, waited an hour for the coaster to even open on its first day of reopening, in the rain, but eventually we did get to ride Matterhorn. I ended up riding it 3 times. So this one opened in 1959. This was Arrow's first coaster, so they never built a roller coaster before. And, well, it's like, can you stick a wild mouse inside this mountain? And they're like, I think we can figure that out. So they ended up building it with steel tubular track because it would turn quicker than wooden track. And this is the first coaster to ever have steel tubular track. It also has pivoting axles. It's the first coaster to do that, and the first coaster to have polyurethane wheels. A lot of firsts. And then there are brakes in the middle. I don't know if it's actually the first coaster to have like block zones and block brakes, but it does. So Matterhorn kind of changed the game a lot when it came along, which I super love about that. I like so much history. And it's a pretty mountain. I rode it twice in row 5, and it was smooth-ish in row 5. I also was riding defensively because it's an old Arrow. So I was sitting forward so my back wasn't up against the seat and holding on to the handrails to stabilize myself. So I was defensively riding this Arrow, but it was a good ride in row 5. Rode both right and left side on that. But the last row was awful. So bad. I love Arrows, but that's a horrible seat. Do not sit in the last row if you can avoid it. Anyway, this is 80 feet tall total. The left and right side are not exactly the same. They twist and turn within the mountain. Right's slightly longer, and actually liked the right side better. So if you're standing at the station and they send you right or left, the one where we went right was slightly better, but they're both really good. Despite its historical advantage, where I kind of enjoyed it a lot more, ride-wise, it's going to be below Invader, I think. But right side slightly better than left. On the way back, we hit Vegas, and the first one we did was the Big Apple coaster. Okay, so this one's at the New York Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It is 1997. It's a Togo sit-down coaster. It's a looper, and it's a hyper coaster. It's 203 feet tall, 144-foot drop, reaches 67 miles per hour, and does 2 inversions. And it has an awful train. It had shin restraints and a comfort collar. Why? Why do we need both of those? Why, Premier? Premier's like, let's take the things people hate most about our trains and put them together on a Togo. It's the last Togo in the US, and I kind of don't feel bad about that. I'm glad I have that credit, but it's gonna be down here. Gosh darn it, I would rather ride Steel Vengeance than Big Apple Coaster again. I would rather ride Steel Dragon. I'll give Wizard another chance. You know what, Big Apple Coaster? You knocked the wind out of me. And you didn't bang my head up. But you weren't great. And then my last coasters were at the Adventure Dome at the Circus Casino. We rode Canyon Blaster. That's why we had to go to ride this indoor Arrow Looper. Opened in 1993. It's 94 feet tall, 66-foot drop, 41 miles per hour, 4 inversions. There are 2 loops and a double corkscrew. Like the theming. Why did I put my corkscrews? Okay. It is slightly better than these corkscrews. I liked Viper better. Yeah, that's it. One more loop makes it one better than corkscrew at Cedar Point. And then we rode El Loco at the Adventure Dome. Opened in 2014, SNS. It's an El Loco model. 90 feet tall, 45 miles per hour. 2 inversions, but they're both dive loops. You kind of just feel like this hanging sensation there. And as soon as I rode it, I was like, this is what a wild mouse would be like if Gonzo from the Muppets designed it and decided to throw some inversions in there. It was a really good lateral. It was a really good hang time. I really, really loved El Loco. Like, this was my favorite coaster on our entire trip to California. And actually, it's in Vegas, but that entire trip, I loved it. So X2 is there. So it's above X2. He's like laughing maniacally whenever this coaster is like, this is amazing. Why? This is great. I think I'm gonna knock Verbolten down. El Loco, you can have number 10. Hi viewers, it's Jen from slightly further into the future. I noticed a couple of mistakes in my rankings. I accidentally grabbed the wrong Big Thunder Mountain, so I grabbed Disneyland's this time from California, and not Disneyland Paris's. I also made the same mistake with Tsunami from Scene 75, where I grabbed Illinois's instead of Ohio's, so those have both been fixed. So now let's just look at all 173 coasters that I ranked. Some of these are racing coasters where the sides were slightly different, and I ranked them differently based on that. But some of the other racing coasters, like Gemini, are close enough that I just ranked them together. So I've got 173 ranked coasters. My official credit count's 174. I've got 5 defunct coasters that aren't rankable. Mean Streak and Wicked Twister at Cedar Point, Big Dipper and Raging Wolf Bob's at Jago Lake, and Wildcat at Hershey Park, which so happy for Wildcat getting the RMC treatment. It's not a favorite of mine, but I'm sure just like Steel Vengeance, where I may not love this coaster, it is vastly better than its original. So happy for you, Wildcat. I realized this when I was editing too, is that Dark Knight should be higher because it's a Wild Mountain. New lineup around 70 with my Wild Mice, with Space Mountain, Apple's Apple, Dark Knight at Great Adventure, or Great America, then the Dark Knight at Great Adventure, Goofy Side School, and the Wild Mouse at Dorney. That looks better. Okay, another change. This is why we have to look at it a second time. Okay, Pandemonium was that spinning coaster, and I think I kind of forgot which coaster that was, so it should really be above all of these. Aero coasters here with the loopers and corkscrews are fun, but they still are a bit rough, and so they're a bit brought down by that. Should Big Thunder Mountain be below these? Big Thunder Mountain should be better than Great. That. Maybe I should have just grabbed all of those and moved them down. Okay. Thunderhawk, Legend, and Comet are all a bit rough. Jackrabbit just has one standout moment. So, rough, but has good elements. Okay, maybe you two go above Gatekeeper, and you two go below Jackrabbit. Together? Okay. Sorry guys, just switching it up again. Nope. Dominator, Anaconda, and Viper need to come down. These are the aero loopers. Well, Dominator is a rough B&M. Not super rough, but I think it's closer to Incredible Hulk. So, above or below Incredible Hulk? Above Incredible Hulk. Anaconda and Viper are a bit rough. Incredicoaster's got a shape to it for some reason. I don't know what's up with the Incredicoaster, honestly. I really thought that was going to be amazing. Actually, gonna bring you down. Pony Express is better than Incredicoaster. And then we'll put Anaconda above Incredicoaster, Viper above Incredicoaster. Then we've got Canyon Blaster, the other Viper, Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper can go up above Incredicoaster. Gatekeeper's closer to Pony Express. Okay, I did some serious thinking, guys, in case you can't tell. No, River King was good. River King needs to go higher, I think, if I remember correctly. So it should go up by, River King should be up by Gold Rusher. Where is it? Okay, so there is my entire coaster rankings. Try doing this again slowly so people can just watch it. Yeah, I've had a really good coaster year. I'm glad I got to add some really standout coasters to my list, like those top few. But even some of the ones down here were still fun to go ride for the first time, like Hydra and Alpengeist. Twisted Timbers was this year. Oh God, I loved riding Matterhorn. Matterhorn was the saving grace for that Disney trip. Yeah. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Give it a like if you did. Leave me some comments about your favorite coasters are. I know there are going to be some enthusiasts who are mad that El Toro and Steel Vengeance particularly are so low, and Shivering Timbers, but just didn't have good experiences. So yeah. Keep going. Still going. So many coasters. I rode so many coasters. So thank you all for watching. I'm I love you all. If you want to check out more of my roller coaster content, it's mostly on Instagram at Check Her Joy. Also sometimes post stuff to Twitter. Also Check Her Joy. I also have a Tumblr that's Check Her Joy in case Twitter goes down. Basically, if it's Check Her Joy, it's me. Down below are the links to my other videos, the links to vote coasters. I'm not exactly sure when voting ends. Links to all the parks websites. My brother's Instagram, where some of these other photos came from. Although I took a lot of photos on this California trip on my own. I was like, I know I'm going to do this video soon, must take photos. Also, I didn't want to forget California because I'm not sure if we're going back again. It took us several decades to get there. Oh my gosh, the cat wants in. Okay, keep riding coasters, read some books, and have fun. Bye!